from the betting capital of the world, giving raw and real breakdowns of mixed martial arts and recapping UFC events like no one else, with producer Martin on the ones and twos and combat sports betting expert Effie. You're listening to Any Action Sportscast. Any Action Sportscast. So put your headphones on and let's take this podcast to the next level.
This isn't a podcast. It's a sportscast.
What is up, guys? We are back. It's your boy Effie with Any Action Sportscast, here to go over UFC Mexico City. Brandon Moreno taking on Brandon Royval. We're coming off UFC 298, where we did have a losing night, losing negative 0.30 units. We lost a third of a single unit on that card. Our bet's going 2-3. So it's nice to, have a loss and it having to be a tiny, tiny loss. Not going to make a dent, not going to make a scratch on our bankroll. And we keep it pushing, man. So we're going to look to start a new winning streak this week at UFC Mexico City, and it should be a good one, guys. If you're not a diehard UFC fan, you're probably wondering who a lot of these fighters are on this card. But if you are a diehard UFC fan watching every single week, you know that this one is stacked, man. The matchmakers did a great job on this card. The heaviest fight on this card is a lightweight fight, guys. Not one fighter on this fight card is going to be weighing over 155 pounds. The UFC knows that elevation. No one wants to see a sloppy heavyweight fight with two guys just getting gassed out after 45 seconds. So this one should be all action the whole way through. We're going to see a ton of Mexican fighters, that Mexican spirit on display, 100%. And I think that the fans in Mexico City are in for a treat, man. And in the main event at UFC Mexico City, we have Brandon Moreno taking on Brandon Royval for the second time. This is a rematch, guys, with the first fight going Moreno's way. Moreno comes in with a 21-7-2 record, currently sitting as a minus 300 favorite. He is 30 years old, 5'7" with a 70-inch reach. He's fighting Brandon Raw Dog Royval, who comes in with a 15-7 record, currently sitting at plus 245 on the money line, 31 years old, 5'9" with a 70.5-inch reach. Now, right there on the screen, the left, you can see Brandon Moreno listed as a minus 250 favorite, but money's been coming in on him this week, pushing him all the way to minus 300. I don't think it's going to get any wider than that. I think that's where it's going to settle. If anything, I expect some buyback on Brandon Royval at this point. But I got to agree with that line movement, guys. I'm going with the assassin baby, Brandon Moreno, to win this fight, and I actually think that he's going to finish this fight. I think that he's going to finish Brandon Royval the later this fight goes. The blueprint is out on how to beat Royval. Royval is a very exciting, dynamic striker. He throws a ton of spinning stuff, spinning kicks, spinning elbows, spinning back fists. The guy's exciting, man. Off his back, when he does get taken down, he is very active. He's not someone that's going to lay and pray and just wait to run out the clock. He's looking for his sweeps, man. He's looking for submissions. He's looking for elbows off his back. He reminds me of Tony Ferguson, honestly. It's just that, like I said, the blueprint is out. He can't stuff a takedown really all that well from the higher level competition. And he's coming off a 5-round title fight not that long ago. He fought the champion Alexander Pantoja in December. And Loki got dominated in 4 of those rounds. And that wasn't too long ago, guys. He had Christmas, New Year's, and then he took this fight on short notice because Brandon Moreno was scheduled to fight a killer in Amir Albazi. Albazi is a dynamic striker, dangerous striker, and dangerous grappler. So Moreno was definitely getting prepared for a well-rounded guy. And in this fight, he's fighting a guy that he's already beat. This fight is also at elevation, like I said earlier in the video. That's the only time I'll say it for the rest of the time because it's going to be a big factor on a lot of these fights. But I just think that Brandon Royval is too reliant on a finish, and he's fighting a guy here in Moreno that's never been finished. He was submitted on the Ultimate Fighter, but he's never been submitted or knocked out in his professional MMA career. This guy's super durable. I just think that Moreno, won't get 3 rounds taken off him from Royval. I don't think that Royval has the skill set here to take 3 rounds from Moreno or finish Moreno. So I think that Moreno, the longer this fight goes, I expect Royval to gas out and really get put on his back over and over again. I think that Moreno has the wrestling, has the grappling advantage in this fight. And on the feet, it's going to be close, man. But I love the striking from Moreno. I love the boxing from Moreno. This guy's just a higher caliber fighter, in my opinion, than Brandon Royval. It's kind of the Robert Whittaker Adesanya situation where Adesanya is reigning champion. If it wasn't for him, Whittaker would be the guy, right? And so it's just Whittaker was never as good as him. And, he got stuck being number 2 guy, kind of like Holloway and Volkanovski. For Royval, it's Moreno and Pantoja, the only 2 guys that are ahead of him. Other than that, Royval is probably beating every other, flyweight on the roster. So give me Brandon Moreno to win this fight. My best bet for this fight is Brandon Moreno inside the distance. At minus 300, I'm not really getting much. I would have to parlay him, but even then, I feel like it's a safe play. So I'm pretty confident in Moreno here to win in front of the home crowd in Mexico City and to get on the mic and call for a title shot. So give me Brandon Moreno. to defeat and finish Brandon Royval. Up next is another rematch, guys. And this one is actually way more important to me because in their first fight, it ended in injury. Brian Ortega being the one that got injured. The win goes to Yair. And we didn't really see a lot in that fight. So I'm happy that we're going to get, a 5-round fight this time instead of a 3-round fight. But yeah, man. So we have a featherweight fight between Yair Rodríguez and Brian Ortega. Rodríguez comes in as a -150 favorite. He is 18-4, 31 years old, 5'11" with a 71-inch reach. Brian T. City Ortega comes in as a +125 underdog with a 15-3 record, currently 33 years old, 5'8" with a 69-inch reach. I'm going with Yair Rodríguez in this fight. There's just too many red flags for me from the Brian Ortega fight. For one, he is super inactive. Obviously, he hasn't fought since that injury, and he was just kind of inactive to begin with before that. We haven't seen this guy in the octagon in a long time. So how long ago was that? 2012, a year and 7 months ago against Yair. And on the feet, I feel like he's going to get pieced up bad by Yair. I think that Yair is, without a shadow of a doubt, the better striker in this fight. Way better kicks, decent boxing from Yair. Ortega did show some pretty good boxing in that Korean zombie fight, which definitely impressed me for sure. But then he got schooled by Volkanovski and, got, injured against Yair Rodríguez. So 2 fights in the last 3 years, super inactive. Whereas Yair has been fighting, beating guys like Josh Emmett. He also got tuned up by Volkanovski, got finished by Volkanovski. And he's right on the cusp, man. This fight comes down to me, if Yair doesn't get one of his kicks, caught and put on his back, he should win this fight. And that's what worries me. He's going to throw a lot of kicks. Yair throws a ton of kicks, very quick, out of both stances. He can go high, he can go low. And with the amount of kicks he's going to throw, the opportunity is going to be there for Brian Ortega to get this fight on the mat. On the mat, Ortega is probably going to school Rodríguez. And I'll be shocked if Ortega finishes Rodríguez on the mat. But I don't think that it's going to get there. I know it did in their first fight, but I'm just actually really confident that Rodríguez will be able to survive even if it does. Ortega, to me, is just too reliable on the submission threat, and he's just a fighter that can lose the entire fight and then win, snatch up a sub at the very last second. That's the type of guy he is. He will be live for a submission the whole entire fight. He's very durable as well. I don't really see him getting finished. If he does, it's going to be coming early, but I just don't know what to expect from the guy, man. I get a bad feeling that he's just come out looking really, really bad, honestly. He's doing some crazy media talking about being an eagle and this rebirth and this and that, and I just didn't like what I heard from Ortega, going into this fight. Whereas Yair, he's talking about fighting Ilia Topuria, he's hyping that fight up already, and I just think that on the feet, Ortega's striking defense is so bad that it's really going to cost him here in this fight. And not to mention, Yair has been training at elevation, whereas Brian Ortega just showed up on fight week. That's got to affect you guys. 7,000 feet in the sky. If Ortega gasses, he's going to get tuned up. And all Rodríguez has to do is, obviously not get submitted. So, Rodríguez, not crazy confident because I do respect Ortega's jiu-jitsu. How could you not? But at -150, I feel like that line's fair. Right there on the screen, you can see -165. Money's been coming in on Ortega, pushing Rodríguez down. So we'll see how far it goes down. So if it gets low enough, I might end up on Rodríguez's money line. But for now, I'm just going to pick him to win this fight. I'm actually going to pick him to win a decision. And if anything, my best bet for that fight is the over 3.5 rounds. I do see it going, getting extended in this fight. But man, if either of these fighters gets tired, the other one's liable to finish them. Up next, we have a fight in the lightweight division between Daniel Zellhuber and Francisco Prado. Daniel Zellhuber comes in with a 14-1 record, currently sitting as a -250 favorite. He is 24 years old, 6'1", with a 77-inch reach. He's fighting Francisco Prado, who comes in with a 12-1 record, currently sitting as a +210 underdog. He is 21 years old, 5'11", with a 69-inch reach. I am super excited for this fight, guys. The UFC killed it with the matchmaking for this fight. We have 2 young and hungry prospects that are actually really well-rounded. Daniel Zellhuber, the 24-year-old Mexican, comes in this fight, and he's going to have a huge size advantage in this fight. He's 2 inches taller with the 8-inch reach advantage going his way. But I do worry about Zellhuber's striking defense. Multiple times now in the UFC against higher-level opponents, we've seen him rocked in that very first round. Obviously, he's able to withstand and continue on and win those fights, but it's just something that worries me. Like it's not good when you're getting rocked multiple times in multiple fights in the very first round. So that's definitely something he's gonna have to be aware of, because Francisco Prado can crack. This dude has very good striking. I know he lost against Damian Malarkey, on his debut, but that's a situation where it happens all the time, guys. The UFC has a fight, get canceled or whatever. They have to look for a short notice replacement. Someone takes, the fight on short notice just to get their foot in the UFC. And he actually put a good, showcase for himself. He obviously lost the fight, but Damian Malarkey for his first fight on short notice, that's a tough fight. So he bounces back with a win against Zaitar in a fight that I not gonna lie, I thought he was gonna lose that fight, and he definitely impressed with this win. A crazy knockdown, crazy finish, in that fight. And he's dangerous, man. A 21-year-old kid here. We're gonna find out a lot about these two prospects. I'm going with Zellhuber, the favorite in this fight. My best bet for this fight is probably the over 2.5 rounds. I don't think that Zellhuber is gonna get finished in this fight, and if anything, Francisco Prado round 1 would be my crazy long shot bet for this fight, because like I said, man, we've seen Zellhuber rocked multiple times in that first round in the UFC, and Prado can strike. That's the one thing he's good at in this fight. As far as the grappling, I'd probably give it to Zellhuber. The ability to get the fight down, I'll probably give it to Zellhuber, but Prado is not a slouch off his back. He has good reversals, good sweeps, and he obviously has very good and vicious ground and pound. We've seen that from Prado. And yeah, man, so I just think that Zellhuber, with that size advantage, is going to be able to stay away, stay safe, and end up winning a decision in this fight. And he's going to have the home crowd on his side, I'm not going to lie. But this should be an exciting fight. I'm really happy it's this high up on the main card. And both guys have a really good opportunity to put on a good showcase for themselves. So give me Zellhuber here. My best bet, like I said, probably Zellhuber via decision. But if you're crazy, you want a degenerate bet, a crazy like long shot money, I'm sure you're getting crazy odds. Francisco Prado knockout round 1 isn't the craziest look. Up next is a banger again, guys. We have a fight between Raul Rosas Jr. and Ricky Turcios. Raul Rosas Jr. comes in with an 8-1 record, currently sitting as a -250 favorite. He is 19 years old, 5'9", with a 67-inch reach. He's fighting Ricky Turcios, who comes in with a 12-3 record, currently sitting as a +200 underdog, 30 years old, 5'9", with a 71-inch reach. Now, this is a very interesting fight because when I first looked at this line, I was like, whoa, that's weird. Why isn't this line wider? Why isn't Raul Rosas Jr. a bigger favorite? And I started thinking about it. I was like, dang, you know what? The way Raul Rosas Jr. fights, he comes out balls to the wall, man. He comes out blitzing, going forward like a maniac, honestly. This dude does not manage his gas tank well at all. He reminds me of Hamza Chimaev with a crazy pace problem, because if he blows his load early in this fight with someone that can match him in the scrambles in Ricky Turcios, I don't know how Raul Rosas Jr. is going to look in that second and third round. But bro, Ricky Turcios is not someone I would want my money on, period. Like, dude, this guy can get taken down by a gust of wind. He's very active off his back. I will say that. This dude, like I said about, who is it? Royval. Turcios is the same way, very active off his back. Reminds me of Ferguson, throwing those elbows, looking for sweeps, trying to strike you from his back, that type of guy. And he's always moving, man. He's always moving. He doesn't want to get his pin shouldered. He doesn't want to get, his back on the mat for too long. He's active. Raul Rosas Jr., to me, though, will have a grappling advantage in this fight. I understand he's a 19-year-old going up against a 30-year-old here. A straight up grown man strength here from Ricky Turcios. This guy has way more experience, 15 pro fights under his belt, whereas Raul Rosas Jr. only has 9. And he's 19 years old. But I really do think that Raul Rosas Jr. is a better grappler in this fight. I feel like there's a big gap in the grappling once they do get there. Going toward Raul Rosas Jr., the young 19-year-old. Give me him to win this fight. I think he finishes Ricky Turcios. I think that he finishes him via submission. Because, like I said, man, Ricky gets taken down by everybody, man. He got taken down by Brady Heinstein, got taken down by Kevin Natividad. Just lower-level wrestlers than Raul Rosas Jr., in my opinion. I think Raul Rosas Jr. wins grappling matches against both those guys. I think he wins a grappling heavy match in this fight as well on the feet. We've seen Ricky Turcios throw a ton of volume and not land it. I wouldn't, be assuming that he's going to be looking good in the striking realm here in this fight, because he never really has. But man, at -250, that's a lot to be paying on a 19-year-old that has shown to, fade as the fight goes. At elevation, man. I was actually at the Cristian Rodríguez fight. No, sorry, I was at the most recent fight, the kid from Alaska FC, Terrence Mitchell. I was at that fight. He won that fight via finish. Looked good. That guy's a total bum, not in the UFC anymore. They definitely needed him to get a win, and I feel like they're handling him with kid gloves again, giving him Ricky Turcios. So give me Raul Rosas Jr. Best bet is at the distance over his money line. A lot to be paying, man. That's a lot of juice in my 50 on a 19-year-old. Yeah, man. So up next, we have a women's fight between Yazmin Jauregui and Sam Hughes. Yazmin comes in with a 10-1 record, currently -550 on the money line. 24 years old, 5'3" with a 64-inch reach. He's fighting Sam Page Hughes, who comes in with an 8-5 record, +350 on the money line. 31 years old, 5'5" with a 64.5-inch reach. Right away on the screen, you can see that on the screen, Yazmin is -470, and I just said that she's a -550 favorite. So even at -470, there's people out there that think that that's not high enough, and they're parlaying her. They're laying it big on her money line straight. She's gonna be in everyone's parlay, and bro, I'm here to tell you, be careful, man. Be careful, because Sam Hughes, God, look at how she fights, man. The way she can win this fight is clinching up Yazmin along the cage, man. This girl will cage push, even if it's boring. Even if it's boring and they're booing her, she doesn't care. She needs to win. Like, she's there to win. And she just won as a huge underdog in her last fight. She's, 3-1 in her last 4 fights. And Yazmin's coming off getting brutally knocked out, like, in 45 seconds in her last fight. So you have a fighter here where clearly the UFC wants Yazmin in Mexico to get on track, to get a highlight reel win, and have the crowd go crazy and promote her, further on in her career. Whereas I don't think they're expecting much in Sam Hughes, expecting her to make a title run or anything like that. I mean, shoot, they tried to do it last fight. Like, that goes to show you, they gave her, who's this, Jacqueline Amarina, undefeated Brazilian jiu-jitsu ace. And what does Sam Hughes do? She survives the first round, all these submission attempts. The other girl fades, and then she puts her on her second and third round. So just because the UFC wants someone to win doesn't mean that they're going to. They still have to go out there and win the fight. On the feet, though, guys, this is a big gap. Yazmin is going to piece up Sam Hughes by a lot, in my opinion. I think that Sam Hughes is going to wear damage bad. Something that she has going against her in this fight big time is that she is pale. No offense or nothing, but she's going to be able to get visibly marked up way easier than Yazmin, who was considerably darker. I always think about how if I was a pale white fighter, I would just tan outside for like 4 days before my fight to go in there looking orange. Because if you're pale, a little kick, something you can check, even will mark you up, even on your legs. So I feel like Sam Hughes is going to be wearing a lot of damage here from Yazmin. As long as this fight takes place on the feet, Yazmin should school and piece up Sam Hughes. I don't know if she's going to finish her, but man, I feel like Yazmin can get out-grappled. I feel like she can get clinched up for extended minutes. And if she fades and she's not able to put away Sam Hughes, it could get interesting the further this fight goes. Sam Hughes has a ton of experience, has a lot of competition at a high level here in the UFC, whereas Yazmin is still this sort of unproven prospect, really. I know she looked really good against Estela Nunez and Lucindo. Both those are relatively good fighters in my opinion. And Sam Hughes is a little bit below them, but like I said, man, it's about the style. And the style is Sam Hughes likes to cage push. She likes to grab you and just hold you in the clinch. And it's not going to look good for the judges, but they're in Mexico. I feel like if that does happen, the crowd's going to be booing, pressuring the ref to separate them. So give me Yazmin to win this fight inside the distance. And if she doesn't, bro, that would be hilarious because, man, everyone's parlay is going to get busted on betting Yazmin Jauregui at minus 550. No, thank you. That's not me. I won't be doing it, but good luck if you do. And up next, we have a fight between Luis Lazy Boy Rodríguez and Denise Bondar. Rodríguez comes in with a 15-2 record, currently sitting as a minus 110 favorite. Denise Bondar comes in with a 19-4 record, currently sitting as a plus 100 even money underdog. Not going to spend too much time on this fight because to me, this is the lowest level fight on the entire card.
And I know bangers. I used to DJ in the early 2000s. Ever been to Canada? Yeah, if you have in the early 2000s, that's probably me playing them bangers.
And the fight where I have the least amount of confidence. On one hand, I am not confident at all on Denise Bondar, right? So he looks like a bum. Super low level of competition before the UFC and hasn't looked great in the UFC. I will say, though, he probably does have the grappling advantage in this fight. Luis Rodríguez, when I watch him fight, another guy that is fighting low level of competition outside the UFC, has accumulated a pretty good record, good striking. He also has some pretty good grappling on his own. But I don't know, man. I can't get a good read on this guy. I don't know if he's just beating up cans. He seems to have good output, good fight IQ, and good ring management, but both these guys are coming out of like really bad pre-UFC camps, whereas Denise Bondar at least has been in the UFC and lost both times. I'll give him that. He got finished by Malcolm Gore with a crazy injury. And then in his last fight, dude, Bondar got slammed on his head, or I shouldn't say slammed on his head, he got taken down and got headbutted on the way down, so he was kind of like already concussed a little bit. But dude, those elbows that Carlos Hernandez landed were some of the sickest knockouts like sequence you'll see. It kind of sucks that he got ruled a no contest or like was a technical decision where it should have been a knockout. Denise Bondar got absolutely smoked in his last fight. So I've seen this guy, look horrible in the UFC, look bad in the octagon, lost to Malcolm Gordon. That was kind of like a freak injury. So whereas Luis Rodríguez is just unproven, man. I'm not going to lay juice on an unproven guy against a higher level competition. But in my opinion, both these guys are pretty low level. So we have a 7-year age gap going in the favor of Luis Rodríguez. But man, I can't feel confident in this fight. So I'm not going to spend any more time on this fight. Give me Luis Rodríguez because I can't, good faith, pick Denise Bondar. And up next, this one though, oh my goodness, this one is a banger. We have Victor Altamirano taking on Felipe dos Santos. Altamirano comes in with a 12-3 record, currently sitting as a plus 230 underdog. He is 33 years old, 5'8", with a 70-inch reach. Fighting Felipe dos Santos, who comes in with a 7-1 record, currently sitting as a minus 285 favorite, 23 years old, 5'7", with a 70-inch reach. Going with Felipe Dos Anjos in this fight. I think he finishes Altamirano in this fight. I gotta say, guys, I think that this line is wide. I think that this line is a little wider than it should be. I do believe that Felipe Dos Anjos should be the favorite in this fight. I feel like he has the finishing ability to end this fight early in this fight. But bro, almost minus 3-1. I'm worried about that because Felipe Dos Anjos, for one, has no striking defense. Another shoot-a-box guy, another guy going forward, doesn't care. He's gonna try to, kind of overwhelm you and blitz you type fighter. Whereas Victor Altamirano has good kicks and not the best hands, right? He can throw in combination, but to me, the striking is going to go to Felipe Dos Anjos. The forward pressure is going to go to Felipe Dos Anjos. It's just about can Victor Altamirano circle out and really damage those legs of Felipe Dos Anjos. Because I actually do like the kicks from Victor Altamirano. As far as the grappling, I feel like even if Victor Altamirano does get Dos Anjos down, Dos Anjos has enough jiu-jitsu to not get submitted and not get pinned down for extended minutes. So I feel like most of this fight will be taking place on the feet. I feel like the younger guy here in Felipe Dos Anjos is going to win this fight. The guy with the 10-year age gap, more often than not, is going to win the fight. Give me Felipe Dos Anjos. I just think that he's more dangerous in this fight than Altamirano. If Altamirano wins, I feel like he's going to win via decision. So I feel like both these guys are going to be bringing it, throwing heavy. I think that Felipe Dos Anjos does eventually catch Victor Altamirano. But man, watch out for the kicks from Victor because they are pretty quick and go high, he can go low. And if he chops down Felipe and limits his movement, it'll be interesting. So give me Dos Anjos to win via knockout. Up next, we have a fight between Mohamed Naimov and Erik Silva opening up the card. Naimov comes in with a 10-2 record, currently sitting as the biggest favorite on the card at minus 600. He is 29 years old, 5'9", with a 70-inch reach. Fighting Erik Silva, who comes in with a 9-2 record, currently plus 300, 36 years old, 5'9", with a 71-inch reach. Right there on the screen, you can see Mohamed Naimov listed as a minus 280 favorite. So to get ballooned from minus 280 all the way to minus 600, like what happened, right? So I think people just started watching Erik Silva's fights, man. This guy is not very good. The one thing I will say about Erik Silva that I will give him credit for and try to give him props is, he's a good grappler. He's good wrestling and good ability to take lower level fighters down. I feel like Mohamed Naimov is going to be able to, for one, not get taken down, and if he does get up, and two, really work this guy on the feet. The striking from Naimov is way better than Erik Silva, in my opinion. Erik Silva is the 36-year-old featherweight, making his run in the UFC too late in life, in my opinion. And I think that Mohamed Naimov is just a different animal. But bro, minus 600, you're crazy. Like, what are we doing here? Who is even moving it that much? Like, I don't know. Who is betting minus 550, minus 600 on an MMA fight? Like John Jones, Habib, like those are the guys, people that you should be betting those types of numbers on. Not Mohamed Naimov against Erik Silva, dude. No way. Like I said though, Erik Silva, he's gonna be looking to take down Naimov. I did see Erik Silva is training with Diego Lopez and them in the Lobo gym out there in Mexico, but so hopefully his grappling is continuing to look good. But man, unless he can out grapple and win that way, win a decision, not get knocked out, I feel like he's going to get sparked in this fight. Give me Mohamed Naimov to find that chin to knock out Erik Silva in that second round. I'll do it, guys. That's the whole entire card. It should be a very good one, man. Our video's been coming out late, man. It's Thursday night. You guys probably won't be watching this till Friday morning. And hopefully next week we can start coming out on Tuesdays like we used to do. Just a lot of stuff been going on. Just random stuff. My car got all messed up, but just random stuff. So we're looking to start, winning our bets. We lost last week, so hopefully start a new winning streak this week. Yeah, man, that's our video for this week. Good luck this week at UFC Mexico City, and we'll see you guys next week. Peace.